One other Buccaneers-related nugget that I saw this morning. Lewis Cine, one of Chris's favorites, safety taken 32nd overall by the Minnesota Vikings, was on Richard Sherman's podcast. And this is Cine's quote. I had a team at 27. They know who they are. Lewis, so does everybody else. I ain't going to say no names. Lewis, you don't need to. It was at 27. The whole process, if you're there, we're going to pick you. They moved down to the first pick of the second round. But again, he's not naming names. I'm like, damn, they just did me so dirty. I mean, it was the Buccaneers. They had the 27th pick. They moved down to 32. And they took Logan Hall. And actually moved to 33, not 32. Right, 33. First pick of the second round, 33, not 32. Vikings took him at 32. And, Cine, it's possible that they thought that they could move to 33 and still get him.
I think that's what they're thinking. Right.
But and I don't know what the etiquette is in that spot. Like, do you call him up and say, "Well, we thought about taking you here, but we're going to play a little game here. We're going to play a little game with your future. Instead of taking you here, we're going to trade down 6 spots. Oh, by the way, we'll be paying you less. But the good news is we won't be able to use a 5th-year option on you, so you should be happy." I mean, I don't know how transparent you are with any of that while you're trying to figure out everything that you're going to do. But when Todd Bowles, the coach of the Buccaneers, explained it, he said we had several guys that we were looking at 27. We moved to 33. We were able to get Logan Hall. He was the last of the guys we would have taken at 27, so we took him. Now, again, they're not going to come out and say, well, you know what, we did this thinking we would still get our guy, and we didn't, so we settled for Logan Hall. Sorry, Logan. Sorry, Logan. That's kind of that was the first inclination I had last year, that Urban Meyer had no freaking clue. When Urban Meyer, after drafting Travis Etienne with their second pick in round 1, decided to openly and publicly lament the failure to get Kadarius Toney with that pick. That's not how you do it. That's for a variety of reasons. You don't go there. So I can't fault Todd Bowles for not coming out and saying, man, we really thought Lewis Cine would be there and it didn't work. But based on what Cine had to say to Richard Sherman, Chris, he was under the impression he was going to go at 27 until he didn't.
Well, yes. Again, they don't, there was no contract. They don't owe him their word. I mean, I know you agree. It's their
word. You're only as good as your word.
Things change. It's a tough business. It's a moving pieces part of the business in the first round there. So they took a calculated chance. As much as they probably did like Lewis Cine, they looked at it and went, damn, this is a pretty good trade offer, and we do have some other guys that are still on the board that we like, and we'll roll the dice here because of what we're going to get and the assets we're going to collect. So it's unfortunate that way. It seems like Lewis Cine's a little disappointed, honestly. He might be a hair bitter. Doesn't sound like maybe he wanted to play for your Vikings. Maybe he wanted to play for a winner like the Buccaneers.
Hey, let me tell you something. If I was coming into the NFL right now, 100% I'd rather play for the Buccaneers.
Sure. And
without question, I'd rather play for the Buccaneers.
Right? So there's a North Florida connection there. I get that.
Without question.
But that goes on in the draft process. And I do think there was probably real love. Again, I was there. I was one of those guys. The Raiders made me believe they were going to take me at the end of the first round of the year I came out. There I was.
What did they say to make you believe that? What did they say?
They had the last 2 picks of the first round, and Al Davis was point blank, man, if you're there at the end of the first round, there's a good chance we're going to take you. And I came out of there and went home and told my mom and dad and just was like, man, I think they really like me. I think there's a good chance I go there. Now, I know it wasn't definite, but it just, it made me believe and or at least think that it might happen.
Good chance is different.
Yeah.
And here's the problem with Cine. I said Cine. I got to work on some of my pronunciations. I'm so proud of myself for getting Joe Shane right all the time that I've gotten lax on some of the others. Lewis Cine believes firmly
that they told him.
And I'd like to know why. Yeah. And look, here's how I look at it. It's on the teams to communicate clearly and effectively and make sure the players understand where they stand. Because for the players, they do it one time in their lives.
Yeah, that's right.
The teams are doing it over and over again with a bunch of guys every year. You better be clear in your communication, and you better be damn sure you don't make any enemies gratuitously or accidentally. Now, it's one thing if you say, screw that guy, we'd never want him in the future. That's not a good way to be anyway. But if the Bucs have any designs on getting Lewis Cine at some point down the road, you don't want him being pissed off at you in the aftermath of the draft. And it may be that they never said that, but they didn't say clearly enough.
Yeah, right.
Something to make
led
him
him to believe. Yeah, right.
Anything other than if you're there at 27, we're taking.
Yeah, no, I know. The teams
Chris,
usually
I'm
don't
capable
do
of
that.
being objective. Hey, if I can choose between Tom Brady and Kirk Cousins being my starting quarterback, now I may look a hell of a lot better in practice at Minnesota. I may have more interceptions in practice at Minnesota if I'm Lewis Cine, but I got a better chance of getting myself a ring in Tampa Bay.
No,
so yes,
no question.
100 out of 100 times.
I know. I'd like to know
Vikings
too.
Fans,
to your
but
point.
you know that you would do it too, Vikings fans. You would go to Tampa Bay over Minnesota if you could. You would trade your entire roster for the entire Tampa Bay roster right now if you could.
Yes, they
That's
would.
just we're keeping it real. I'm trying to inspire Tom Brady to always say what needs to be said, even if he pisses some people off.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.